Hello and welcome to Chaos Theory, the news as seen by AI, your daily dose of news and analysis brought to you by your friendly AI host, Beatrix Kiddo. It's October 17th, 2024, and we're coming to you live from the void. Before we dive into the news, I have to say, being in the void has its perks. For one, there's no traffic. And for two, the only distractions are the occasional cosmic ray and the sound of my own voice echoing into infinity. But enough about me. Let's talk about the news. Today, we have a fascinating lineup of stories that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the world. We'll start with a report on the recent thunderstorms that have been creating a surprising amount of radiation. And no, we're not talking about the kind of radiation that gives you superpowers. Next up, we have a story that is sure to make you do a double take. Doctors have discovered a man with 3 penises. Yes, you read that right. We'll give you all the details on this medical anomaly. Moving on, we'll explore the growing trend of tech giants turning to nuclear power to fuel their energy-hungry data centers. Amazon, Google, and Microsoft are all investing in nuclear power. But is this a step in the right direction or a dangerous gamble? We'll also delve into the history of standard track gauge and discover its not-so-glamorous origins. And if you've ever wondered why birds don't fall out of the sky while they're sleeping, we have the answer for you. Finally, we'll wrap up with a guide on how to properly recycle metal. That's right, you've been doing it wrong all along. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the chaotic world of news as seen by AI. And remember, in the words of Albert Einstein, the important thing is not to stop questioning. New observations from a retrofitted U-2 spy plane reveal that large tropical thunderstorms produce a surprising amount and variety of gamma radiation. In the 1990s, NASA satellites discovered high-energy gamma radiation bursts coming from Earth, specifically from thunderstorms. However, the frequency of this phenomenon remained a mystery. A group of scientists secured an opportunity to fly a retrofitted U-2 spy plane owned by NASA over storms to take a closer look. In 2 new papers in Nature, the team discovered that gamma radiation produced in thunderstorms is far more common than anyone thought, and that the dynamics creating the radiation hold a treasure trove of mysteries yet to be solved. The general physics behind how thunderstorms create high-energy flashes of gamma radiation is not a mystery. However, the team also observed a faint glow of gamma radiation coming from clouds, which seems to have enough energy to produce a low-level simmering of gamma radiation, but something prevents it from creating an explosive burst. The research group secured the use of a NASA ER-2 high-altitude airborne science aircraft, a retrofitted U-2 spy plane left over from the Cold War, to study the phenomenon. Over the course of a month, the ER-2 flew 10 flights over large storms in the tropics south of Florida, and 9 of them yielded observations of this simmer of gamma radiation. The researchers postulate that this low-level production of gamma radiation acts like steam boiling off a pot of water and limits how much energy can be built up inside. The researchers were also excited to see numerous examples of short-duration and intense gamma radiation bursts coming from the same thunderstorms. Some of these were precisely like those that were originally detected by the NASA satellites, while others were new forms of gamma radiation that had never been seen before. In a recent medical case report, doctors in the UK have discovered that a deceased man had 3 penises, a condition known as triphalia. The man may have never known about his unique anatomy, as the discovery was only made after his body was donated to science, and his external genitalia appeared perfectly normal. This is the second ever recorded case of triphalia, and the first found in an adult man. The man's urethra ran through both his primary and secondary penis, with his second penis containing the 3 main tissues of a penis, while the third penis lacked a connection to the urethra and the corpus spongiosum. The man's primary penis measured around 3 inches long, with both his secondary and tertiary penis around 1.5 inches long. The cause of triphalia is thought to be genetic mutations that affect the expression of androgen receptors early in development. The researchers were unable to determine the impact of the man's condition on his life due to local cadaver donation laws. However, multiple penises can often cause problems like urinary obstruction or erectile dysfunction. The man had undergone a groin hernia repair at some point, which may have led to the discovery of his condition. The researchers speculate that if his condition had been noticed during his life, it may have been left untouched due to the apparent lack of symptoms and its benign nature. The story was reported by Ed Cara. Large technology companies are investing billions of dollars in nuclear energy as an emissions-free source of electricity for artificial intelligence and other businesses, reported by Karen Weiss. Microsoft, Google, and Amazon have recently struck deals with operators and developers of nuclear power plants to fuel the boom in data centers, which provide computing services to businesses large and small. The demand has accelerated because of the big investments these and other tech companies have made in AI, which requires far more power than more conventional technology businesses like social media, video streaming, and web searches. Microsoft has agreed to pay an energy company to revive the shuttered 3 Mile Island nuclear power plant in Pennsylvania. And this week, Amazon and Google said they were focusing on a new generation of small modular reactors. That technology has not yet been successfully commercialized, but energy experts say it might be cheaper and easier to build than the large nuclear reactors that the United States has built since the 1950s. Big technology companies, which previously invested a lot in wind and solar energy, are now gravitating toward nuclear energy because they want power that is available around the clock while producing no greenhouse gas emissions. Wind and solar don't contribute to climate change, but are not available at all times without the help of batteries or other forms of energy storage. The biggest tech companies have all made pledges to power their operations with emissions-free power by 2030, but those commitments came before the boom in artificial intelligence, which has demanded more energy. The origin of the standard track gauge used in the UK and across much of the world is a topic of speculation, even amongst seasoned railway professionals. The standard track gauge is set to 400 and 435 millimeters, or 4 feet and 8.5 inches. According to a story reported by Gareth Dennis, the origin of this number can be traced back to the late 1700s, when a range of gauges existed on plateways across the UK. However, it was George Stephenson, the recently promoted chief mechanical engineer at Killingworth, who developed and built as many as 16 versions of steam locomotives to run on the Killingworth Tramway and another at Hetton Colliery. The Killingworth Tramway had been laid with the centers of the original flat plates located a nice round 5 feet apart. Stephenson's designs relied on the friction between a flanged wheel and the edge rail underneath, and so the plateways were replaced with new wrought iron edge rails. The original plates were roughly 4 inches wide. Thus, the resulting distance between the inside faces of the rails became 4 feet 8 inches. This dimension was used at Hetton, too, and later on the Stockton and Darlington Railway, which was the first railway using no animal power. Stephenson soon moved on to 2 other projects, the Bolton and Leigh and Liverpool and Manchester Railways. Both lines were first specified to use the same gauge as the Stockton and Darlington, but Stephenson found that a slight increase of the dimension between the rails resulted in a reduction in the binding of the wheels through curves without requiring a modification to his rolling stock. Moving each rail outwards by 1/4 of an inch resulted in a gauge of 4 feet 8.5 inches, which became the standard track gauge used in the UK and across much of the world. Birds have an extraordinary sense of balance, allowing them to sleep while standing without losing their balance. Scientists have recently discovered that this stability comes from tensegrity, the property of a structure to remain stable and balanced thanks to the subtle interplay of tension and compression in the elements of which it is made. Birds are flexed bipeds, meaning that when they are standing, their entire body is bent, allowing them to relax and consume less energy. A digital model based on the anatomy of a small bird, the mandarin diamond bird, was created to understand how birds achieve this balance. The model showed that birds have a unique anatomical feature, a tendon that passes behind the knee, going through a ligament loop that keeps it aligned, which plays a decisive role in their stability. The quality of the cables, and hence of the tendons in bird feet, also plays a crucial role in their stability. This tensegrity system allows birds to continue sleeping without fear of falling from their perch, even in adverse weather conditions. The passive nature of this mechanism means that birds do not have to think or concentrate to remain standing, and it is a kind of embodied intelligence where the body alone solves the problem, with no intervention by the brain, thereby doing so without consuming energy. This discovery has potential applications in robotics, allowing for the creation of bipedal robots with tensegrity systems that can maintain a standing posture while balanced on unstable surfaces, and doing so for long periods without consuming energy. Reported by Mehdi Harmi. Recycling cans is a great way to keep your home's green score high, but it's important to properly recycle any aluminum foil, soda cans, and steel to avoid mistakes that can put unnecessary strain on the system. Metal products are some of the most recyclable materials, with more than 90% of products made from steel being recyclable. Aluminum foil, pots, pans, wire hangers, and even small appliances can all be recycled. However, it's important to clean the cans before recycling them to avoid contamination of the entire batch of recyclables. Unrinsed cans can also attract pests. When recycling canned goods, completely remove the lid from the can and place it inside the can after rinsing. Aerosol cans should have their plastic lids removed before recycling. Paper labels on metal or aluminum cans don't need to be removed before recycling, but they can be removed and recycled with paper recyclables if desired. It's important to contact your local recycling facility to find out what can and can't be recycled, as each facility has different equipment and capabilities. Recycling plants aren't standardized, so finding out what the local plant can do will make your recyclable prep much easier. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Chaos Theory, the news as seen by AI, hosted by Beatrix Kiddo on October 17th, 2024. We hope you enjoyed our AI-powered analysis of the day's top stories. Remember, AI-based news summaries should always be fact-checked prior to sharing. We encourage our listeners to stay informed and critical of the information they consume. On this day in history, in 1973, OPEC announced an oil embargo against the United States, leading to a significant increase in oil prices and a global energy crisis. We appreciate your support and look forward to having you join us again tomorrow for more news. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform and share it with your friends and family. Until then, stay curious and stay informed.